Hey guys, EBPMAN here, and it's been a couple days since the Unpacked event in San Francisco, and I wanted to share with you kind of my impressions of the Galaxy Fold. I know I've been relatively quiet about that product, but today we're going to cover the specs. We're going to talk about are we getting one on the channel, and why you may want to consider it if you're interested in a device that is both a phone and a tablet. So let's get right to it. So the Galaxy Fold is probably one of the most innovative form factors in phones that we've seen in a very long time. And what I wanted to share with you is kind of a lot of the specs today, why you may want to consider it, and actually take you through a hands-on view as to what the Fold looks like and why you may want to consider it.
Make sure you hit the subscribe button and tap the little bell icon to get notified when new videos become available.
So let's take a closer look at the Fold and see why you may be interested in this phone. So as we can see here, the Fold is a really compact device. It has the form factor of a phone, but actually opens up to be a mini tablet. 7.3. Now think about this for a second, that Samsung did have a tablet that was an 8-inch tablet. So this is going to be a real nice pocketable form factor that will expand and open. It does share many of the characteristics that you find with the S10 series, namely the camera system, as you can see right there on the back. And as you look at the overall thickness, it's not super thick, but it's definitely a little bit thicker than your standard phones. Now, it does have a SIM slot that's going to support both T-Mobile and AT&T, and the power button, as you can see there on the side, is not just the power button, but it's also the fingerprint sensor. USB-C, like you would expect, and it does have a front-facing camera that's going to allow you to take some selfies. Folded, it does have some thickness to it. It's not, razor thin like we see in some of the tablets. And as you can see it side by side with all of these other phones here, it shares a lot of the design characteristics. Now, one of the neat features that Samsung was displaying was this charging capability. So here you can also do the charging above a smartwatch, you can charge another phone, or you can charge your Samsung Buds. But notice how simple and easy it is to open this. I actually saw this, the close-up. They weren't allowing you to touch it, but where I was sitting in the audience, I was able to see it when they came off stage and they had it in their hands. And as you can see here, it has a unique hinging mechanism that really allows for the device itself to sustain itself and not damage easily because of the constant opening and closing. And that was something that I was really worried about as I looked at it. Now, once again, the one thing that I'll say as you take a look at this and you see all the color variations that you have here is the front-facing display. The front-facing display does not have a full-screen display, but it's actually smaller. We're going to see it in a couple seconds as we also take a look at the specs once you turn it on, and that's kind of a disappointment to me because I wish it was a full screen, edge to edge, just like the normal phones. And you can see here the area of it, it's much smaller. It's much smaller in display, and it's not taking up the whole phone. But the seamlessness, when you go from one mapping solution to the other mapping solution, is pretty powerful. And you can see how just going from maps to this area right here is just utterly amazing. The screen is bright, the screen is vibrant, but it just drives me crazy to see that the screen itself is so small in this area. Selfie is pretty cool because, again, you're still being able to use those features on it, and you can see that it does support like the wide camera angles as you would expect with any phone. And it is more, I would say, reminiscent to a candy bar model, so you notice that it seems thinner than what you would see for the current S10 phones. I don't know if I'll be that guy that's going to be taking pictures in tablet form because it kind of drives me crazy when I see folks, using their iPad minis or their iPads or even a Samsung tablet to take a picture. So you probably won't catch me doing one of these things. But hey, it works, and as you can see here, the features in the display and the ultra-wide lens is actually super cool because you can really get some really nice shots here. For me, I think that even though you can see here that video conferencing is with Google Duo is pretty cool, or if you're using a WebEx or any kind of solution, I think that it's super powerful. I'd probably use this a lot for reading books or reading, stuff that has to do with my work. Now, consuming content like this is going to be pretty sweet. 8 inches, being able to watch Netflix, getting the gaming type capabilities as you can see here, browsing the web. Here you're starting to see like really the benefits of this tablet. And you know what, guys, we are going to get one on the channel. I know it's $2,000. It's expensive. It's going to be, in many cases, it's a mortgage payment. And there's probably other things that you can spend on, $2 grand on. But for the sake of the channel, I've been saving for quite some time now and anticipated that I was going to be around this price. So we're definitely going to pick this up. And as you can see here, that it not only supports the standard functionality that you see on the Android ecosystem on the phone, but it also has DeX capabilities. All right, so next let's take a look at the specs, and you can see why I'm disappointed with the product. So I'm going to scroll down here for a second and just go to a couple areas to highlight. And there's just a couple things that I'm a little disappointed with. First of all, the fact that we're looking at a 4.6 cover display. So you saw how small that screen was, and it wasn't taking full screen. I wish it was larger. 4.6, especially now that all these phones are coming out with 6.3 and larger screens, to me is kind of a miss point with them. Now they do have the cameras, and the cameras are very competitive. The rear camera, the triple camera, the front camera. But the one thing that I'm a little bit concerned about, and you're going to see this right here, and I'm going to zoom in because this is the biggest thing for me, is that it doesn't have an expandable micro SD slot. RAM is good, right? And also storage is good. And maybe it's good enough, and that's why they went with the high storage, but there's no micro SD, so that means you have no expandability. But 512 gig, I have to tell you, I haven't purchased a 512 gig phone, memory phone or storage on a phone ever. So maybe that's going to be enough. I haven't lived in that kind of space before, but I'm disappointed that there's no expansion, and that really concerns me. Now, the battery is pretty nice. So you have a 4,380 milliamp hour battery. It does support fast charging plugged in, and it has that wireless charging as well as you can share power. But once again, we're talking about a phone that is close to $2,000. So I wanted to share with you kind of the specs, my disappointments, which was, again, screen, no expansion, and then also the fact that the price of $2 grand is pretty high. But again, we've been saving here, and we're going to have one on the channel. Let me know, are you going to pick one of these up? And if you can share why you would buy it and how you would use it. Is it just because it's a gadget, or you'd be picking it up for some specific business use? I'm getting it for the channel for review, obviously, and just to learn how this technology is evolving, but would very much be interested in why you're picking it up. So let me know in the comment area below if you're going to pick up this phone. See you in the next one.